Now, joining me here in the studio to continue looking at this important issue of bullying and talk about what he's doing to address the problem is the founder of Make Bullying History Foundation, Brett Murray. Welcome back, Brett.
Thank you, Keith.
We previously spoken on this programme, so some viewers will remember that. You oversee the work of what is now known as Make Bullying History Foundation. What's all that about?
Okay, well, we're a charity that delivers seminars to students, teachers and parents, and also corporates, between 40 to 50,000 people across Australia and New Zealand every year.
Mm. How many people are involved in
the actual organisation?
Yeah.
Well, we're a pretty small organisation because we want to make sure and maintain the quality of service that is provided does never find itself being diluted through a massive overspread of different staff. So we've got our board and our steering committee, and myself and my wife head up the program, and I'm the main presenter, and we're in the process now of growing and training up more presenters.
Absolutely. So what are some of the forms of bullying that the foundation wants to address?
Oh, well, there's many different forms of bullying. There's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, physical attacks, there's ostracisation, rejection, where groups of people will make another person feel unwanted and unvalued. There's cyberbullying. The online world is rife with negative behaviour. But I think the biggest education we bring to people right across all spectrums is what actually is bullying and what is not bullying. Yeah. And that's the biggest misnomer out there in society, because a lot of people just think, oh, if someone's doing something negative towards them, oh, they're being a bully. Well, no, actually they're not. They might be being vicious, malicious, small-minded, self-centred, violent even, but just because they're behaving in such a negative way doesn't constitute them being classed as a bully. No. So bullying has to be, by definition, long-term and ongoing, and often targeted negative behaviour towards a person or a group of people that ends up in them being disempowered.
Now, you've been working with, here's the advert, with the Sharkies.
Yes, with the Sharks, yes, yeah.
With Cronulla Sharks, a major national rugby league team.
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
Well, we are the signature community partner with the Cronulla Sharks for the next 3 years, and we're very, very proud to be associated with them. And through the Sharks Make Bullying History Initiative, we plan to get into every school in the Sutherland Shire and also the chambers of commerce and places of business and make the Sutherland Shire bully-free. That's the vision and the goal.
Are you hoping that you get some of these guys almost as ambassadors for the cause, as it were?
Oh, absolutely, because the core of our message is understanding the key role that positive male role models have in society, and i.e. fathers. And if we look at a broad brushstroke of society today, we know that fatherlessness is a major problem that's happening across the Western world. And so a lot of kids who don't have those positive male role models in their own home look to their sports stars, and in this case, the rugby league players. And it's right across all sports.
And the Christian faith underpins so much of your thinking, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me, myself, I'm a man of faith, and those, value sets that I've learnt throughout, my own journey really underpin the message.
But it's something that can be acknowledged across the whole community.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the famous teaching of do unto others as you would have others do unto you. I mean, treat people the way you want to be treated. It's not rocket science, and you don't have to be a Christian to prescribe to that kind of, ethos.
And Sharkies are doing well, aren't they?
They are.
I'm not going to talk any more about that. So why is it important to you? Just why is it important to you?
Well, it comes from my own experience. I was chronically bullied as a high school student, and it never was addressed properly at school. We didn't have the tools at school. We didn't have chaplains like we do now in schools. We didn't have counsellors. It was, just harden up. Just take it. Bullying's a part of life. And I never had a positive male role model in my life. My parents were divorced, so grew up with a single mum, and she did a phenomenal job of raising myself and my brother. But I decided at a very young age, at the age of 16, after I left school at the age of 15, that I wanted to be for others what I never had, and that was a positive male role model. And out of that desire to want to help people, life has brought us here.
Did you go home at night fearful? Was it?
Well, back then we didn't have social media, so home was an escape, which was great, which highlights a problem we do have now. Social media means the bullies can come right into their bedrooms, but that's another topic. But for me, my journey was one of dread. I would be physically ill before I went to school, knowing that I was going to be bashed that day, knowing that what lay ahead. And it wasn't just name calling or ostracisation. Like, I was physically attacked nearly every day of my high school life. And yeah, it was just horrible.
I mean, you talk about what you do. I mean, the truth is, and I don't want to put this to you, a lot of people that are bullied become bullies, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. The research we did in partnership with McCrindle Research stated that 49% of victims of bullying go on to bully themselves, because at the end of the day, no one wants to be at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to the social pecking order. You know, even if I'm feeling bad because that one's picking on me, well, if I can somehow get some form of power or control or self-worth by putting that person down, and it's usually through a juvenile mindset that people come to these sort of...
Brett, we wish you the very best of success as this work goes on in the future. And I know we're going to make a link between our two websites so people will be able to find out more about the important work that you're doing. And particularly this book that people can see on screen now, Make Bullying History. Now, Brett, you would be the first to say, I'm sure, that many people who exercise in wonderful ministries and leadership roles have been through this experience. And the work that's begun is not just a short-term initiative, it's a long-term initiative. And the results are often not felt until a young person has become an adult who's grown up without the harmful scars of having been bullied. And I think that one of the difficult things is you have choices to make. Am I going to be a bully or am I not? Am I going to work with my family? If you could say in just a couple of sentences something to somebody who's being bullied or living with the scars of being bullied, what would it be?
Oh, the thing that I would say, if anyone's out there and you've been a victim of bullying, number one, what the bully has done to you doesn't reflect on your value. You matter. You have intrinsic and amazing self-worth, and you're an incredible individual, and your past does not define your future. You have a greater future than you have a past.